Have you ever seriously wondered if you could run your entire house on solar power? It's a massive question, right? Well, today we are going to answer it, step by step. And we're not talking theory here. We're actually going to design a complete solar system for a typical 3-bedroom house, from the panels on the roof all the way down to the batteries. So forget the guesswork. This is a real, data-driven blueprint. Let's dive in.
This is the first question everybody asks, and it sounds so simple. But the real answer? It's anything but. It completely depends on your specific energy needs, where you live, and what you expect your system to do. I'm sure you've seen this kind of vague advice online. It's basically a shot in the dark. So today, we are trading all that guesswork for a methodical, calculated approach. We're going to build a precise blueprint from the ground up based on what your home actually uses. So, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by calculating your home's total energy load. Then, we'll use that number to figure out the right size for your batteries. From there, we'll size the panels and the inverter, run through some absolutely critical safety checks, and then finally, put it all together in your very own smart solar blueprint.
Okay, first things first. The absolute foundation of any good solar design, and I mean any of them, is knowing exactly how much energy you use. This is, without a doubt, the most important step. The key metric we're going to be using is called the daily load, and we measure it in watt-hours. It sounds technical, but it's a really simple and powerful idea. You just take the power of an appliance and multiply it by how long you use it each day. That tells you the total energy that one device eats up. And here's how it looks in the real world. You literally just go through your house, appliance by appliance. That fridge, it probably runs for about 10 hours a day, so that's 2,000 watt-hours right there. Your TV, all your lights, the fans, you just add them all up to create a full energy audit for your home. So for our sample 3-bedroom house, that brings us to our magic number, 6,000 watt-hours per day. I want you to remember this number. It is the cornerstone of our entire design. Every single calculation we do from this point forward is going to be based on it. Now that we know how much energy we need to generate, we have to figure out how to store it, right? And that brings us to the heart of the system, sizing your battery bank. Okay, now this formula might look a little intense, but it's actually pretty simple. We just take our daily energy need, that's 6,000 watt-hours, and we divide it by the system's voltage, which is typically 48 volts for a house this size. And then we divide it by something called depth of discharge. Just think about your phone battery. You don't run it all the way down to 0 every single day, right? Well, depth of discharge is just the percentage of the battery you plan to safely use to keep it healthy for the long haul. So let's plug in our numbers. We've got 6,000 watt-hours on a 48-volt system, and we plan on using about 80% of the battery's capacity. And boom, we find out we need about 156 amp-hours of storage. Just like that, our battery bank is sized.
All right, our storage is sorted. Now we need to design the engine, the part that actually generates the power and gets it ready to use in your home. Let's size the solar panels and the inverter.
And again, we start with our daily load. This time, we divide it by the average number of peak sun hours you get in your specific area, and also by the system's efficiency. Because you always have to account for those small energy losses from the wiring, the inverter. No system's 100% perfect. Now, how you actually connect your panels is a huge decision with real-world results. If you wire them in series, you boost the voltage, which is great because it means you can use thinner, cheaper wires. But here's the catch. You absolutely cannot go over your charge controller's voltage limit. The other way to do it, parallel wiring, keeps the voltage the same but jacks up the current, which means you've got to use thicker, more expensive cables. It's a classic engineering trade-off. The inverter is pretty much the brain of the whole operation. It needs a continuous power rating that's high enough for all your stuff running at once, but, and this is crucial, it also needs a surge rating that can handle that big kick of power when an appliance like a fridge or a well pump first starts up. Getting this wrong can lead to annoying system shutdowns or just plain wasteful energy loss. Okay, we've designed the system's muscle and its brain, but none of it matters if it's not safe. This next part of the plan is completely 100% non-negotiable. I want you to think of this as your pre-flight checklist. Fuses on all positive battery terminals, no exceptions. Proper grounding to prevent fire and electric shock. Triple checking your connector polarity because getting that wrong can literally fry your equipment instantly. And never, ever, ever exceed your charge controller's voltage limit.
I'm going to pause here for just a second because this is so incredibly important. Unlike the AC power that comes out of your walls, the DC power from solar panels and batteries is constant, and it can be extremely dangerous. Every single safety measure has to be followed without exception.
And there are other, more subtle dangers to look out for. For example, did you know that really cold weather can cause a solar panel's voltage to spike unexpectedly? That can easily damage your charge controller. And using the wrong size wires isn't just inefficient, it is a serious, serious fire risk.
All right, we have walked through the math, the components, and all the safety protocols. Now, let's bring it all together and take a look at the final blueprint we've created. And here it is, your smart solar blueprint, all distilled into a simple 5-point checklist. You've got your daily load, your required battery capacity, your total panel wattage, your inverter specs, and a confirmed safety plan. This is what you get when you use calculation, not guesswork. And finally, we absolutely have to state this clearly. This explainer is for educational purposes only, to help you understand the design process. Electrical work is dangerous. Always consult a qualified professional electrician for the actual installation. So, here's the main takeaway today. You are now equipped with a method. You have a process for turning that big, complicated question into a concrete, data-driven plan. We've handed you the blueprint. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?